Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over and showing you how to install the Rhino Rack Vortex Aero Crossbar system here on our 2021 Jeep Cherokee. So adding your roof rack to your Cherokee here, it's going to be an excellent option because it's going to make your vehicle that much more versatile. We can truly use it as a Jeep. Now there's plenty of different things we can throw up on here. If we just wanted to free up some space inside the vehicle for us and the family on those long road trips, we could easily attach either a cargo basket or a roof-mounted cargo box. They're both great options. We have plenty of those to choose from here at etrailer. Or if we wanted to hit the trails, we could easily throw a couple bikes up here. Or if we just wanted to hit the water, we could easily throw a couple kayaks as well. So really the possibilities are endless here with the roof rack. So we actually have two different color options here for this particular system. We have the black crossbars, which is what we have shown here obviously. We also have an option for silver crossbars. Now it's really going to come down to preference, but I really feel the black looks better with most vehicles. But again, if you have one that you feel the silver ones will look better for, there's certainly an option for that as well. So there's actually quite a few different types of bar constructions on the market in regards to roof racks. We have square bars, round bars, and arrow bars. Those are some of the most popular ones. Some of the other manufacturers are doing some heavy duty ones that are kind of like a round/square sort of combination hybrid, if you will. But these arrow bars that we have here, these are really the best in my mind. They're the best overall because number one, they don't create as much wind drag as some of the other options because they're obviously a little bit more aerodynamic, so the wind flows over them smoother. And this is going to cut down on that excessive wind noise. If you've ever had a pair of square crossbars on your roof, you'll notice that when you get on the highway and get up to speed, those things can actually be pretty noisy. So not going to have that issue at all here with these Aerocross bars. And then although not nearly as noticeable, there is actually a difference in wind drag between the square and the Aerocross bars. And what that does is that's actually going to cut down on your fuel economy because you're going to be creating much more drag to the system here. So that wind's going to be catching on it, hitting on it, slowing you down. So not something I necessarily think you guys are really going to be able to notice even if you track your fuel economy, but there is a small effect on that. The Aerocross bars being better than the square ones. So in regards to accessory compatibility, it's going to work with pretty much all accessories on the market. Most of them now are compatible with Aerocross bars, so you really won't have any issues whatsoever. The most common ones are the ones that sort of wrap around, sort of like a U-bolt if you will, and there's some clamps underneath. I will say that we don't necessarily have a ton of space between the top of the roof and the bottom of the crossbar here. So some of those low profile accessories that install in the channels, those are probably going to be ideal for this vehicle with this crossbar setup here. And I actually really like those because they're much simpler to install. You don't have to go back and forth tightening those thumb knobs on either side. You just simply remove the end caps, slide the channel mounts in, and you're ready to go. So no matter what accessory you have, chances are it's going to be compatible here with this system. But if you want to opt for the easier to install channel mounted accessories, you can certainly do that as well. So in regards to weight capacity, it's going to be 165 pounds evenly distributed across both crossbars. However, it's not a bad idea to take a quick look in your owner's manual, see if the vehicle has a weight capacity for the roof or the side rails, and then abide by the lowest of those rated components. So if we take a closer look at our actual feet here, you're going to notice a couple things, especially while you're installing them, that everything inside here is coated with rubber. Now what that's going to do is it's going to ensure that we don't scratch up the vehicle, our nice painted side rails here. We certainly wouldn't want to deform or scratch those. So having that rubber barrier there to prevent clamping down too hard or having scratches there, just going to be a nice added assurance, keeping our vehicle looking nice and new. So last but not least, you will notice that we have locking end caps on each side of our crossbars here, which is going to prevent someone from coming up and stealing our roof rack or possibly our accessories if they use the channel mount system. So it's just a nice piece of added assurance here to ensure we have security if we were to go inside, grab a bite to eat while we have our accessories on the roof. So in summary, you really can't go wrong with the Vortex Aero Crossbar systems. This is one of my favorite roof rack options on the market and one I would consider for a personal vehicle. Now there are some other choices available such as those from Yakima and Thule, and although they are great, I really don't think they beat Rhino Rack for the money. Rhino Rack's considerably cheaper than those two options, and they have some of the other great features that they offer, such as the built-in locks. And for Yakima and Thule, these are actually sold separately, so it's an added expense. Yes, the locks are plastic that comes with, but you can actually upgrade them to metal if you want some more security there. But overall, I really like the Rhino Rack system here. You really can't beat it for the money. It's going to be a great option for you Cherokee owners. So to start off your installation here, we're going to be doing some tabletop demonstrations just to show you how to put everything together before we place it on the vehicle. So first things first, we're going to take our crossbar here, we're going to flip it over just like so. Now if the end caps are already removed, we do need to remove them. They're pretty simple though. They really only go in or come out one way. That way's backwards there. But if they don't just pull straight out, you may need to unlock them using the tool that comes in your kit. So here they're locked now, we can't remove them. But if we unlock it, you can see they're just going to pull straight out. So we need to remove the end caps on either side here. And once we've done that, we can take our foot pack, we can slide it into the channels on the bottom of the crossbar. Now you want to make sure that the side with your Allen key is facing out, kind of away from the vehicle towards the end of the crossbar. So what we're going to do now is just simply slide that into the crossbar, sort of line up the channel underneath. So slide that on there just like that. Once we've got that one on there, we'll get the other one on. So you can see that little wedge there. It's a little bit difficult unless you put that one in first, just like so. And then we can slide the rest of it through there just like that. So now that we have both of the feet attached to our crossbar here, we'll go ahead and set it up on the vehicle. If you have someone on the other side to help you, that's certainly going to make things a little bit easier, but it's not required. Now we've already got the front crossbar in place. You can install either the front one first or the rear one. It really doesn't matter. We'll just go ahead and set it into position about roughly where we want it. In regards to the actual spread, meaning the distance from the center of the rear to the center of the front, or center of the front to the center of the rear, it doesn't really matter. This is really going to come down to what sort of accessory we're going to be carrying or what type of carrier we have. Usually those are going to specify a certain crossbar spread or range that we need the crossbars to be within. But with our race side rails here, we really kind of have a set limit, so anywhere between there is going to work fine. We're just going to sort of roughly set them up here, just sort of eyeball it as best we can, just to space them evenly apart. And once we have that, now we're going to go ahead, take our tool here. We're going to open up those clamps so they can drop down onto the railing. So now we're going to take our Allen key here, stick it through the channel in our crossbar, insert it into the Allen head screw there. We're just going to begin loosening until we have the clamp open enough to fit over the railing. Looks like we need to get a little bit more here. So something else we need to be careful of while we're pushing this down, there's going to be a little rubber lip on the bottom here. We need to make sure that doesn't curl up like it wants to do there. We need it to actually encompass around the roof railing there so it doesn't cause any damage. So just be aware of that when you're pushing this down, that rubber piece doesn't sort of peel up on you, curl up on you rather. But once we have that down in there, I'm just going to snug this one up. That way when I'm doing the other side, this one doesn't pop up. So just a couple turns there. Now we'll jump to the other side there. We'll just do that same thing. So once we get this side pressed down here, a couple more turns to loosen it. What we're going to do next is we're going to get a tape measure out and we're going to measure the distance from the outside of the foot to the end of the bar. That way we have the equal amount of cross or overhang on each side of the crossbar here. Now you don't necessarily have to use a tape measure. If you just want to take a couple steps back away from the vehicle and just sort of eyeball, that's perfectly fine as well. But basically, we just want the overhang to be the same on each side or as close as we can get it. But once we've accounted for that, we can actually go ahead and start torquing down the feet here. So in order to do this, we're just going to use the same tool as before. But when we start getting to the proper torque, with a normal torque wrench, you're going to hear like a clicking or a beeping sound. This obviously doesn't have that technology built in. But you can kind of see how this little paddle here is arched. Well, when we get to the proper torque, this is actually going to flatten out like so. That lets us know that we've tightened it to where it's going to be nice and secure, but we obviously don't want to over torque it. We could risk stripping out the hardware here or deforming the rail. So now that we have everything tightened down, we'll go ahead and take our end caps here. And again, they should only go on one way. Place that into the crossbar. Yours are probably going to be a little bit more of a tighter fit, so may need to use your palm to hit it on. But once it's on there, we'll take our locking end cap here tool. We'll just twist that to lock it into place. Do that on the other side, and that's it. And that's going to do it today for our look and installation of the Rhino Rack Vortex Aero Crossbar system here on our 2021 Jeep Cherokee.